Warning, the following podcast contains excessive amounts of dumb jokes, subpar criticism, overly deep reads, and casual use of the fuck word and other fun expletives. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey Jake, what are we watching tonight?
We watched Terminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hey.
Yeah, this was made in 1984 by James Cameron, his second movie, I believe.
Really?
What was his first?
Yeah, Piranha 2.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Piranha 2.
Everyone gets their start
Iconic.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's in horror.
But he made that to make this movie, if I recall. He did that one as like kind of a, hey, I can direct, I can, here's this.
Test the waters?
This has been the last episode of We Might Be Critics. But yeah, to test the waters a little bit, to just show studio executives that he was worth, taking a shot on. And fun fact, I believe he sold the rights to Terminator for $1 as long as he got to direct and have pretty near complete creative control over it, which he did.
Yeah. I mean, it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And we've, I think it did. I'm Jake, by the way.
I'm Sam.
I'm Jackson.
And I'm Rachel. And we didn't wait till the last moment to do that.
Yeah,
this
we
time.
didn't. We're in the middle of the podcast.
We're learning.
Yeah, we're learning. We're getting there.
We're getting smarter.
It's okay. We'll forget next week.
Speaking of getting smarter, I'm going to go ahead and do our blanket content warning, blood and gore. Pretty much that's strobes.
Not often, but there are a couple of
but there are a
stroby
couple of
scenes.
very intense ones, and some nudity. And
80s typical nudity.
80s typical nudity is man. That's the name of my punk band.
Hey, I like it.
It's not as bad as most
We get
80s
some
horror.
full frontal. We get
We
an
do not
extended
give-
lovemaking scene.
We do not get
There's
full
no
frontal.
full frontal.
It's
There most
full
certainly
back.
Oh yeah,
was.
there is. No,
There
there
was.
is.
Yeah,
You
he's
see.
walking up. When he's
When?
walking up on the punks.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
You can also definitely see
But
Linda
barely.
Hamilton's boobs at one point.
Mm-hmm.
That's side, though. That's not full frontal.
Okay, it basically counts.
You get side boob. You get a lot of man ass.
You do get a lot
That
of
comes
man
with the
ass.
term.
I have seen
we have
every inch of Schwarzenegger by the end of this movie. That's all that I'm saying.
True.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's all right.
I would like to point out this has the fastest time to ass ratio,
Beating,
Out of our
of
movie.
course, the
Yeah.
Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West.
which
Yeah.
we went an entire episode about talking about, so we had to get that in
No,
on
we
the front
have to
end.
get it in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the nerd facts. This movie was made on a budget of $6.4 million,
Okay.
Damn.
which, and it grossed $78.3 million.
Yeah.
So, kind of a success.
I mean, maybe.
A small
A
success.
smidge.
It made its money back.
It's the biggest
It is
success we've talked about on the show.
It is the movie that kind of sold Arnold Schwarzenegger as a leading man.
You don't think it was Kindergarten Cop?
This predates Kindergarten Cop,
I'm just
doesn't it?
saying. I don't know.
This predates it by quite a bit.
Yeah.
Was it his first movie?
No.
I don't think so.
It's his first
but
big movie.
It's his biggest one to date by 1984.
I can find out his biggest to his first movie. Should I?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
go
look
ahead,
that up.
go ahead and look it up. I should have
Look it
looked
up.
that up, but
I might actually have it pulled up. I had his IMDb.
Well, what
Okay,
are
no,
you making me
closed
do the
it.
work for then?
Well, I don't. I was just doing that pre-podcast.
Come on, guys. I know we're not nearly as far as this movie implies that we would be at this point in 2021, but we can work our phones a little bit faster.
I love that. By the way, just to go ahead and start talking about it, Terminator's future
Hercules
takes
in New
off.
York.
Ah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because that's the one where that's where that gif comes from of where Rose is swinging around.
Yeah,
And Arnold Schwarzenegger is Hercules. And the distant future of 2029.
Yeah, 8 years from now.
8 years from now, get ready for Skynet to take over.
Well, no, Skynet takes over.
would've already
In,
been
Skynet
yeah.
takes
True.
over in 1997.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true, actually.
That's getting
We're
into
already in it.
Yeah, we're already in it.
Yeah.
It's way worse than I could have imagined, honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
So yeah, I think that's about all I've got for nerd facts. What about you all?
I was looking up some stuff on the CGI earlier.
I have a bit to talk about on the CGI. Are we just talking about names, or can we
Well,
talk about
Well, do you have any other nerd
what was
facts?
CGI besides the lightning?
The light. So
A lot of it was actual true robotics and puppetry,
That's what it looked like.
Mhm.
but the lightning was the thing that I was looking up just because I wanted to know who made bank in the 80s inventing that lightning that got used in
'cause
literally every
it's
movie on the
here,
planet.
It's in Return of the Jedi.
Weird Science,
Weird
Xanadu,
Science is
take your
another
pick.
one. Yeah.
So
Bill and Ted.
Bill and Ted. Yeah. Bill and Ted uses it also.
it's the hand-drawn cells being traced over live action is how they do the lightning or the plasma
That's
effect.
cool.
Yeah.
And it's accredited specifically to Joshua Mador. I'm saying that wrong.
That's fine.
Who was doing Forbidden
probably
Planet
close.
for Disney. So
Oh, cool.
that's where they traced it back to. So I just want to get that name because that man should have a lot of money.
I hope
or
he
is
does.
owed a lot of money.
What's
That's
Forbidden
amazing.
Planet, real quick?
A movie.
A film made by Disney. Never seen it. Actually haven't heard of it until this moment.
Yeah, there we go.
I've heard of it. I'm going to look it up so I don't confuse it with something else, though.
Okay.
Anyways, tonight we watched Forbidden Planet.
It's really not necessary.
Oh, yeah, you've seen this monster before. You know that robot that's in all of like the sci-fi pictures?
Oh,
It's
him.
that.
Okay.
Hold
that
on, what?
robot
What
with
am
the
I
big
looking at?
Yeah,
bulbous
you've seen
fish
that
head.
robot.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
seen
with the
that
little claw.
robot.
Sure enough.
Oh.
It's a 1956 film.
Wow,
So-
that affects that old?
Yeah, I guess it just got big in the 80s or something, or got cheap to do.
I've never
probably
seen.
got cheap to do.
I've never seen what's it called? original Lost in Space. I just figured that
Lost
robot.
in Space.
I figured that robot was just from Lost in Space, to be honest. Which I don't think is an unfair assumption.
No, not at all. All right, so we should probably get back to talking about Terminator, though.
The right robot movie.
The right robot movie. The best robot movie.
Mm,
Not the best robot
yeah.
movie. The best robot... I can't even say best robot series because this has some unfortunate sequels, but
Yeah. Well, if we're getting down to it, I think the sequel to this movie is the best robot movie.
yes, I'll agree with that. But we'll talk more about
Same disagrees.
No, I like the sequel a lot.
Okay, but
Yeah.
that was like, really?
I was trying to think of what's the best robot movie.
Well, it depends on what we're getting at.
This is the...
this robot movie
might be the
deserves an
second
accolade.
best robot movie.
In comparison
Terminator
to the...
1?
Terminator 1, yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. It depends on what we're
I think it made them
defining as a
scary
robot
again.
movie.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. I think Terminator made robots scary again, outside of like
I would
sort of...
say that it made them scary at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a man in the 50s,
we're
but
talking like in movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robots are incredibly scary in real
Always.
life.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say like sci-fi novels. I'm like, I don't think this is the first
Well,
thing to make
yeah.
them scary.
No,
On
we're talking about film.
The
Oh, I
visual
have-
media.
As everyone knows,
Rachel.
I have literally no say in as far as movies go. I
Rachel,
know
you should
nothing.
know by now that 3 out of 4 people at this table can't read.
Especially me.
I forget. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to rub it in, guys.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm taking notes over. I'm just drawing pictures the entire time.
That's all
Sam
right.
takes her notes exclusively in stained glass so that the peasants
cool.
may interpret them.
Yeah, we have to
yeah.
pause a
Yeah.
lot
So it's
for
just a lot
Sam's
of,
notes.
a lot of humor.
It takes us one. So you think we do this on one night? It takes us 1 week to record every episode because Sam is sketching frame by frame.
See their house though. It's beautiful when it's sunny
Gorgeous.
out.
We keep considering making her watch it on her own ahead of time, but it seems
Everyone's-
cruel to make her sit alone when we watch it together.
Yeah, it's a group thing.
That is a
I don't want to
great
be
thing.
alone.
Can I do one more brief aside? I'm actually not sure if that GIF is from Conan the Barbarian or Hercules in New York, so I just wanted to clarify that.
I love that you said Conan O'Brien too, as opposed to
I
Conan the
meant Conan the
Barbarian.
Barbarian, not Conan O'Brien.
It could just be from his other Hercules movie too. You know, he's been in a lot of things.
He's been a lot, yeah.
Hercules.
Not the shitty Hercules, though.
There are several shitty Hercules.
I'm talking about Sorbo.
Yeah, I fucking
Aw,
hate Kevin
yeah.
Sorbo.
Yeah.
I got mixed feelings.
What do you mean?
No, I don't think you can have mixed feelings
I-
anymore,
Kevin Sorbo
man.
or about Hercules? 'Cause
Kevin
that is
Sorbo.
different.
How about Kevin Sorbo?
Why do you have mixed feelings about this? Is like we've gotten way off topic.
Yeah, very-
Kevin Sorbo's done
was
some
Hercules.
stuff that I enjoy, but him as an individual, I have some questions about some days.
What's-
Was he the one in Mythica?
Yeah, he was the one in Mythica.
Oh, the one that Matt Mercer doesn't like.
Let's make a flat statement. Kevin Sorbo sucks.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure getting behind. Pretty sure I'm done.
Okay.
We should talk.
What's her
back to
face
the
though
movie.
is really good. Sorry, we'll go back to the movie.
Oh, Lucy Lawless.
Lucy Lawless is awesome.
Yeah.
100%.
Nothing bad
Xena
there.
kicks out. Hercules the show does kind of like in a campy way kick ass.
Yeah.
That's my thing. He's in a lot of campy shit that I'm really here for, and then
Yeah,
I
like
find out
God's
who he
Not
is as a
Dead.
person.
Yeah,
Real campy shit that I'm definitely here for.
we should talk about actual Terminator though.
Let's
Man.
talk about Terminator.
Yeah.
Movie we all just watched.
That was the other thing I was going to look at.
So who's got some stuff they want to start off on?
Are we done with the nerd facts?
Yeah, we're done with the nerd facts.
Okay.
We have about we have 2 minutes of nerd facts and 8 minutes of asides about Kevin Sorbo.
Can I just say, it's a fucking shame, man. And I'll probably say this again if we watch any other James Cameron movies around this era. Man, it's a fucking shame.
Yeah, it really is, right?
Because this movie's great. And I know T2 is
T2,
gonna hold
Aliens.
the fuck up. Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
God, James Cameron was a hell of a director, man.
At one point, he had creative vision. He had stories he wanted to tell. He had cool sci-fi ideas.
I will not take away that the man has creative vision still. I'm just not sure it's good creative
His
vision.
creative vision is much more on the like science side of it, I think, than it is on the
his
actual
creative vision is
storytelling.
wanting to make 6 Avatar movies.
Yeah, that's the
He's
I
got
want to
the
make
money,
sure.
man.
Well,
Of
it's more
course
like
he has the money.
it's more like it's not the creative vision. It's the I never want my kids or grandkids to have to work a day in their fucking lives
I
vision.
guess.
6 Avatar movies sounds like a nightmare I've experienced.
Well, it's happening.
I don't know where
It's
they go with the
happening.
plot.
6?
Yes.
Yeah.
Figure out the
How?
plot
They
later.
haven't even gotten the second one out.
Yeah,
He wants it to happen.
He wants them to
People
make
are
that many
building.
of them. Yeah,
Just because he wants it to happen doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Avatar 2 is happening.
yeah.
But 6?
It might.
It might. James Cameron has
They've
enough money.
They've
I-
made like 6 or 7 Terminators
I
at this
Where
don't
do
point.
you even take that story?
Who knows?
How many
Hopefully.
times can you tell? How many times can you make Pocahontas?
Well, they've got other things they can do, other stories they
But
can,
will
you
they?
know.
I think Avatar would be pretty cool if they branched out in space more and they got rid of the blue Avatar people.
I agree with that. I have a lot of feelings on
I
that.
hate the sex ponytails.
I have a lot of feelings about
God,
that, but we gotta
We
stop
gotta talk
talking
about
about
Terminator. I just wanted to say that, man, James Cameron was a hell of
James
a
Cameron
director.
at one point was an incredible director.
Because this
and
movie
it
is
shows.
really good.
It shows in this movie. So besides the aside about
Yes.
James Cameron, what else you got for us, Jack? Because
Well,
you're
where do we-
usually highly
where-
opinionated.
I'm highly opinionated about some things. Let's get my biggest one out of the way first, because it's
Yeah.
something that I didn't like the first time that I watched this movie, and it's something I still don't like.
Mhm.
I don't like Kyle Reese.
Really?
Yeah,
As an
Okay.
individual or a character?
I don't like him as a character.
Okay.
Maybe it's because like I'm not a child of the '80s. No, it's not even that, because I like the big dumb action star.
Yeah.
It's just something about his character, man. I don't know. I can't.
Can't put
Maybe
your
it's his
finger on it?
face. I
Okay,
just
you
don't-
can't hate him just because of
Well,
his
I don't.
face.
Okay,
it's not
okay.
just because of his face. It's something about him I just don't like.
I'm actually gonna follow up with Jack because I'm not a huge fan of him either, but I know why, because it
Okay.
lost me as soon as it started that weird romance plot line. I hate that.
Well,
I hate the way that's set up. I hate the way that he turns and goes, "I love you," from a photo, and he didn't know a lot about her. I think that would have been better if that was like a one-night stand because of like stressful situation rather than that, "Oh my god, I'm in love with you and have been forever." Because number one, that's weird.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
That's weird for him. That's weird for her. I hate how just she was like, "Okay, that's fine."
maybe that's why I don't like him.
It
hold
just
on.
feels
Because he's-
very.
Because he's kind of a loser.
Because he's kind of like a crack addict made action hero.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
I really hated that because that scene felt like James. I think the scene felt like James Cameron didn't know how to write it, and he was like, "Well, let's just get the plot points out," and he like. It almost feels like he did like the storyboard and didn't flesh out the dialogue and then looked at it and went, "We don't need to do anything with that. Move on."
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think that scene sucks too, to be fair. I think it's like the hard, like low point
Yeah.
of the movie.
Also-
it's
And
the
I-
only point that slows down.
And
Yeah.
I like a lot about this movie, but that's my big
Yeah.
sticking point too. I don't think I hate it on the same level that you guys do, but
I don't even necessarily
really
hate that
dislike
scene.
it.
I just don't like Kyle Reese.
that's fair.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I know that, like, the coast. You know what? Maybe that's my problem. I think my biggest problem is I watched T1 after I watched
After you
T2.
watch T2,
And
yeah.
I know how much better your co-star becomes.
Yeah.
And how much
Well,
better the characters as a whole.
We have to judge.
I know on
this
the
movie
movie
on
on
its
its own,
own
but I don't like him
merits.
in this movie either.
No,
like just on his own.
I don't love him either, if I'm being honest. And I like this movie a lot. I don't hate him,
I don't hate him either.
but I will say that I think him being a fucking weirdo is on purpose. Like, I think it's highly on purpose that he's a fucking weird dude.
Yeah.
Who the hell?
No.
Oh, no, he's a super weirdo.
Oh no, I agree. He's a weirdo. I don't know if it was on purpose.
I think it was.
No,
Yeah.
I have a take. Can I
Yeah,
give my
of course
take?
you can have
Okay.
it. Of course.
Yeah.
It's very Greek. I mean, this is very like Sophocles and Oedipus Rex kind of Greek take on who he is, because
Yeah.
this is all about time loops. This is all about I'll never exist if you don't go back. At the end of the movie, she's all, I have to tell you about your dad so that you know to send him back to me. So he's got to like take this child soldier, hand him a picture of his mom and go, hey, just like think about her for a long time because she's going to save the world. She's a legend. She's a hero. We all owe all of our lives to her. This is the one thing that you can look up to and look back on. And one day we're going to need to protect her. And this is the one thing you can look forward to because you don't get to have a childhood. You don't get to have a life outside of this war. All you get to do is know that one day you're going to fall in the fire for my mom,
Yeah, I don't.
You're
okay.
gonna be a hero, buddy.
basically.
Okay, yeah, except for the fact like he didn't know
You're
he
gonna
volunteered.
fuck my mom.
Yeah, that's
No, I
Okay,
don't know how
That's
this
a weird
works
thing.
Oedipus
That's a
Rex
weird thing.
exactly,
Well,
but I get what you mean. Where it's
It's
like,
very Greek as far as
leading
I
up-
can't tell you all of the details, but even though you're the guy who's gonna volunteer, you're the guy I'm gonna give my mom's photo to.
I get that, but I feel like you guys are taking it from like an outsider's perspective, trying to make it make sense. I feel like he was supposed to be cool in the movie, and he's just not.
Well, I'm saying I didn't think he wasn't cool. I thought he was traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, I don't know.
Which-
I just didn't. I would agree with you if it weren't for the fact that she like rolls with the "I love you" so quickly, because she hasn't grown up with this trauma-filled like childhood. She seems to have some like complete sense in the beginning, and yeah, she has some trauma. There's a lot of
Some
trauma
fresh
during
trauma.
it. But I'm sorry, I don't know if like someone turning that you she met him that day,
I'm gonna run
2 hours prior.
I'm gonna run devil's advocate here. Sure, I agree with that. She does not have a trauma-filled life, and you did say that she had experienced some major trauma recently. However, this crazy homeless man has just showed up and told you that in the future there's a nuclear war, and that your son is the leader of that. And all of it's true.
I
This
can't
robot
not fuck up.
I think the thing that I don't think it's I can't not fuck him. I think it is
I know.
I am so fucking stressed right now.
She's all
I
alone.
need any kind of release.
I don't know. I would have liked if they had leaned into that more rather than the like, I love you. I shouldn't have said that. And then her showing up and being like, with the whole conversation about you've never been able to feel.
You know what? I'll give the scene that.
She was angling at first.
It was more of that than it was of I love you, because it started off being, oh, you're a virgin, let's take care of that kind of thing. I don't want to get into like porn territory, but that's where it was going.
Yeah, 100%.
At first.
This man has saved her life no less than twice. And
And then
it's
you
like
would love
one-
some random person you met.
Okay,
If
in
he
this
was
scenario,
that shredded and he had
Okay.
saved
No,
my
no.
life twice,
I'll be real with you.
100%.
Yeah, trench coat, that just...
Fuck that. Okay.
No, I'm being real here. No, because
Okay,
he has
you go
saved
ahead,
her
'cause
life
I have my
no
own
less
point.
than twice. Everyone she knows and cares about is dead, and
She doesn't
she
know
could
about her mom.
die at any moment. She knows her roommate, and her roommate's boy are also dead. She knows all the other Sarah Connors in the area are also dead, and she had that moment laying in bed right before that conversation going, he's gonna find us anyways. She knows what she did when she called her mom was stupid.
Let's take all that out of the equation real quick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't care if this is the ugliest, fattest fucking dude on the planet. If I'm going through this bullshit,
Yeah.
A good fuck. I mean, if I'm gonna die anyways, why not?
I can't.
Why not?
I don't know what
hate
world you
these
guys are
takes.
living in.
I'm living in reality, baby. I'm living in 2021. Let's fucking
The
go.
year that he started serving, by the way, I got that. Which,
Yeah,
shit.
I don't know. And maybe I'm looking at this. The dialogue felt so painfully fake. And
I'm not saying the scene's good.
I get that this is like a big damn action film kind of situation, but
This isn't really as big, dumb, and actiony as.
Mm-mm.
Nah, this one's more. This is actually, I think, more of a. This was more marketed as a horror movie.
It was
when
marketed
first
as
came out.
it was marketed as a monster horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
it's
that's
really-
what the
Yeah.
Terminator
Huh.
was. But I agree with Rachel. It's more of an action movie than it is.
I mean, it
as a
is.
horror,
yeah,
but,
the amount of shooting that happens in this film.
but there are horror
It's
elements.
great.
They're for sure horror elements. Like the beginning of the film was very horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with my Greek tragedy theme, but yeah.
But no.
Yeah,
So
Greek tragedy that works too. I mean, it is.
yeah, I'm gonna finish this my dislike of this scene with one point that really like slammed it home that I hated this scene. Why do they have too many hands? The way that was filmed, he was like simultaneously like covering her boob with his hand in a way that was very weird.
Yes.
And they were making out, and you see both of his hands, you see both of her hands, and they keep flashing back to this where they have their hands clasped together, like during the action. That's one too many hands for both of them.
Okay, I will say throughout this whole movie, the cuts back and forth are incredibly inconsistent.
Uh-huh.
Like every single thing, every single car chase, there'll be moments where someone is ducking down, and then you cut to literally the next 10 seconds, and they're sitting up, and then the little next 10 seconds, and they're ducking down again.
I will play devil's advocate for this. Totally intentional.
Mhm.
Think it makes the movie feel a bit better and a bit more intense.
Just
Not with the fucking, but with the rest of the movie, I will totally play
With the
devil's
fucking,
advocate.
it's bad. It looks like they have 3 hands.
Well, with the fucking, who cares? I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be that guy.
it bothered me. It bothered the hell out of me.
It's not top secret level of too many hands, so it didn't bother me.
That's fair.
That's different.
But
That's
that was
different, though. That's
completely
good.
intentional. Supposed to be multiple hands. This they were trying to do like cuts back and forth,
Mhm.
and if they had cut back to their hands once at like the end, that's fine. But like it felt like they were like, if we can't have this scene of them fucking on screen too long, because then we're gonna go past a certain rating. So
Look,
instead,
They were
we will give them
contractually
what
obligated
looks like
to
an
have
extra
some kind of
hand.
fucking scene. All of the 80s movies in this genre were.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the thing. All the 80s like movies in this genre were, but none of them that I remember have that weird cut 16 times.
Look, man.
I'm trying to remember the scene in
James
Highlander.
Cameron just wanted to see his future ex-wife get boned down by Kyle Reese. It's fine. We
They
can
were
move on
married?
from this. They got married after this, yes.
Wow.
How long
Things
did
you
that last?
learn.
Not long.
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton had some demons, and James Cameron in general is not a very good person. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
he
him
wants
personally.
to make 6 Avatar movies.
I don't know him personally. Everything I've read about him is he is apparently a nightmare on set, and just in general a very unpleasant and kind of difficult and mean person.
Mm.
And he doesn't get along with his fans, and he kind of is. He's just a dickhead.
Mm.
Like
Of course he is. He made
Artiste.
Titanic.
I don't even know if it's so much he's artiste. I think he's just a dickhead.
Okay.
Like I don't think he's fighting for his art. He just seems to be an asshole.
I'll agree with Sam. He's fighting for his art. That man wants to make 6 Avatar movies.
It's
We
his
gotta
art
stop.
money.
We're talking about past James Cameron, not current James Cameron.
Okay,
we're
It's a
talking
time
about
travel movie. We're allowed to loop around.
Yeah,
a
we're
little bit.
allowed.
No.
This is allowed.
no, because time loops is how we get in trouble later in this fucking series, and we ain't fucking doing that.
James, it's me. You gotta make 6 of the same movie. I'm telling you, it'll make gangbusters.
I'm already doing it, future James.
I'm already doing it. I'm making about these robots. No, it's gonna be blue aliens now. Also, this movie on a boat.
You gotta make Titanic.
I got it all written down, James.
Why does future James Cameron sound like he's from fucking, I don't even
Like
know,
the
New
40s?
York? The 40s? What are we doing here?
He regresses.
Yeah, he regresses.
Hey, can we talk about Arnold?
Yeah.
Let's talk about how good Arnold
Let's
is.
talk about how fucking great Arnold Schwarzenegger is in this
Yeah.
movie.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is a role
absolutely.
made for him, man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a perfect role for Arnold, and
Yeah.
it's his breakout hit.
Yeah.
Man, he's fucking huge.
He's massive in this movie.
Motherfucker's
He is
huge.
super threatening the entire time, too.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
he is terrifying.
yeah.
Really
Um,
intense.
Super intense. I mean, like, you can call it people harp on him all the time for this being like bad acting, but of course it's supposed to be like
he's a robot.
I mean, he's supposed to be a robot,
yeah,
so
He's learning.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad acting.
No.
A lot of people do go that route when they criticize
well,
this
people
movie.
are
Let me
Cowards.
say.
Yeah, those people are cowards.
Maybe he was a bad actor, but in that case, he was cast perfectly because it's a robot.
I think he did great in this movie, though.
Arnold's a good
It's,
actor.
yeah, it's
I'll
good. at
defend
this.
Arnold.
I'll
defend
defend
Arnold,
Arnold too.
too.
I think he's a great actor.
What's that movie with him and Jamie Lee Curtis?
Oh gosh.
Because I love that movie. What is it called?
I don't know.
Shit,
I
man.
love so many movies.
I do, but it's a genuinely good movie. It's a good
I love
spy
Jamie Lee
flick.
Curtis too.
I do too, but she's unfortunately not in here. Linda Hamilton is though. We could talk about her
I
performance
love Linda
as well.
Hamilton.
She's so different in this than she is later on as Sarah Connor,
Understandable.
sense.
which makes sense. You get to see the.
She's still really
She's still really cool.
She's still
Like,
really cool.
for
Not,
me,
not
she's
her
not
full
the-
potential.
No, but
You see where it starts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you see where
for
it
sure.
comes from.
I definitely, by the end of this film, like that last scene, I was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
She will be better in Terminator 2.
oh, you have no idea.
She's so great.
She's
I will say
so
that
fucking
Sarah
this
Connor's
movie,
so cool.
this movie makes Sarah Connor and Terminator 2 so fucking good.
Yeah.
Even better than she already is just watching that movie on its own.
Yeah, this is, hey, fun fact, we were supposed to originally watch Terminator 2 this week, and I said, no, we should watch Terminator 1 first, because I want to see the entire Sarah Connor character arc. Yeah.
Because she's so cool.
She's
super
really good.
cool.
As
She's
far
really
as
cool
being
in this
the
movie,
girl
honestly, like,
in this movie,
well,
like
she's a lot more.
They don't let her just be the girl,
yeah,
though.
that's what's good. That's what's good. But I mean, that is her role.
But
as far
yeah,
as
she is
like,
the
80s
damsel
horror
in a
movie
way.
goes.
Well,
But she's
a
so
lot
much
more-
better than that.
Mm-hmm.
She has a iguana.
She does have an iguana.
Yeah,
named
Pugsley.
Yeah, Pugsley.
Really like Pugsley.
yeah,
He's
Whatever
good.
happened to Pugsley?
he survived.
Hopefully he
I
survived.
think he
He
survived.
did
yeah.
survive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because he spooked what's her face, Ginger.
Ginger, yeah.
Yeah.
He spooked Ginger and then fucked off.
Mhm.
Yep.
He's living on top of a fridge somewhere.
Yeah, he's a living life.
Mhm.
Someone probably adopted him after that.
I hope
Probably.
so.
Yeah.
She really should have like had him in like a properly safe cage, though.
Yeah,
I
but he's
think-
free roaming.
I think it was properly safe. I think that iguana was just a sneaky bastard.
Mhm. Escape artist.
Yeah, escape artist.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Snakes escape all the time. Also, this is the 80s, man. Nobody knew how to take care of anything. Reptiles, birds,
Their
dogs, their hair.
Yeah.
Snakes
Themselves.
escaping is terrifying.
Snakes do it all the time.
All of the
Oh
time.
no, I'm well aware. I went over to a friend's house once, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, tell me if you see my snake." And I was like, "Say what now? Pardon?
Just see,
Did you
chilling.
invite me over when you have a large snake loose?
Better
awesome.
way to find it.
Yep.
Awesome. That thing's massive. Really? Great.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
You look like you had something to
I
say.
do have something to say. I would
Okay.
like to talk for a minute about the soundtrack. Boy, it's
Very
80s.
80s.
Boy, it sucks.
Really?
It's really
I enjoyed
bad.
it in the movie.
It's I think for the time period it was probably good, and there are some standout moments. The theme is excellent. The actual like Terminator theme song
Hasn't quite reached
is-
its full potential.
It hasn't. Once again, we're at Super Saiyan 1 of the Terminators.
Laying the groundwork,
Yeah,
building
we're-
them
we're-
bones.
Yeah, and it's very good, but for the most part, it's so forgettable. That's my problem with it.
You could
It's
put a lot of that in literally any 80s movie, like 80s action film, and I don't think you would be able to tell that it didn't belong.
I think that's okay though. There are
Yeah.
moments when you need a slamming soundtrack to really hype up the moment, and there
They
are other
just wanna pay
times
more money.
I don't know that that's necessarily the issue, and I don't think that it was an issue. I think everything sounded like it was supposed to, so I got to focus on what was going on around it instead of being taken out of the moment by the music.
Here's a rare moment. I agree with Sam. I actually do like the soundtrack of this movie.
Hey.
I think it's exactly what it needs to be for the time period. It is.
this is a personal gripe. It's not like
It's not as good as it's going to be.
yeah. That's so you know how you have a problem with Kyle
Yeah.
Reese because of what comes in the future. I have
Yeah.
a problem with the soundtrack because I know what it can be, and it's the same. It's the same guy
Mm-hmm.
who does T1 and T2.
Really?
So yeah, same guy.
All right.
He does a great job.
He had time to evolve.
Yeah, he did.
He got the technology.
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
Which is kind
Music
of
Which is
evolved.
good.
Yeah.
Which is good. 'Cause I don't know. It took me out of the moment at some points because it was so intensely generic and at times weirdly loud
It
and
is.
like rivaled with the fire, like the shooting at
It is
times.
intensely
weirdly.
80s. I will not say intensely generic, but
Maybe
it is
I'm just
intensely
desensitized
80s.
because I did not feel at any point like it was competing on the screen. for my attention.
I don't think it was, but that's. I think me and Rachel have slightly different problems with it.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's just boring.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you on the boring part. I wish there was a little more oomph to it. That's all I'm asking for.
I think the issue for me, as far as the sound goes, is it's so intensely boring that I don't understand why it was as loud as it was in some scenes.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jack, you had something to say?
I did. Let's talk about movies and aging.
Sure, let's talk about that. Actually,
let's talk about the effects.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about the effects.
Most of them hold up fine, but there are a few moments.
Yes, absolutely.
Namely, the Arnold head.
The Arnold head has aged
pretty bad.
But it has. I would like to say, let's do the litmus test.
Okay.
What looks better, this or Wild Wild West?
This looks okay. So here's the thing: the Arnold head looks better than most Wild Wild West.
Yes.
The parts where the robot is like stop motion animated has aged the worst.
Oh yeah,
it's the worst it's been.
It's real bad.
Which is a shame because they don't do that a lot.
No,
but when they do it, it really takes you out.
I think those scenes with the stop motion. Sorry, I should let you finish first.
It's just when it's put up right next to where they are moving it, just like as an animatronic. When they're doing
awesome.
it looks great. Like, especially when it gets to the point where it's just crawling.
Oh,
it looks fantastic. But those few scenes where it's just poorly animated and it slows down the movie, like literally the FPS drops because it has to.
Yeah.
Because that's the way they just did it.
Yeah.
There was no other way to do it.
There's no other way to do it back then.
Because they couldn't do a full body shot with the puppet.
And also, this is on a budget of, what did I say, 6 million, 7 million almost? Yeah, so they didn't have many other...
They didn't. But
but
they could have just not also. And you know what? For the time, I'm sure it was amazing.
Well, I think part of this also... Hold on. Let me find it again.
So I'd like to say this. I watched this when I was a lot younger, probably before I should have watched it. Because we watched Terminator 2 like when we were both way young. Yeah. And I watched this probably when I was like 10 or 11 the first time. Yeah. And back then, I remember thinking it looked awesome, but I was also a huge Terminator mark. So maybe I was just really excited to see the full robot.
Yeah.
The full robot didn't bother me as much as the Arnold head. Because the full robot, I was like, yes, this is definitely fake. The full Arnold head went, like the puppet head, that went full Uncanny Valley, just uncomfortableness.
It was very uncanny.
You know when
Valley.
they talked about the T600s and how they were made of rubber and you could see them a mile away?
It did look like a rubber guy.
This is what I imagine a T600 looks like.
And in all fairness... As far as being designed, the Rubberhead looks pretty good. It
looks like Arnold.
It looks like Arnold. Like, the person who made it did a very good job. It's just nowadays it does not.
It doesn't hold up to what you can do.
It's so
flat.
stiff.
Yeah,
and the color is completely off. That's the main thing.
They lit it too. It just was very awkward when they did that, and they cut back and forth between his real face and the puppet face.
Yeah. So it was very obvious.
It just makes it worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was doing some research before we sat down.
Sure.
They initially wanted Rob Bottin, to be the special effects guy.
Yeah.
Who could not do it because he was offered John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, wow. What a fucking...
Hey, bud. Would you like to come do the special effects for one of the biggest movies of all time? No, I'm going to go do special effects for another one of the most important movies of all time.
All right, bud.
Well, then he asked Dick Smith, who I don't have Dick Smith's stuff on lock right now, but Dick recommended, why don't you talk to Stan Winston? Stan does good robots. Mm-hmm. And apparently we have Stan Winston to thank for all of the really good puppetry.
Okay, good. Okay.
Apparently Cameron wanted to do a lot more stop motion. And he went,
Thank
what
God.
if instead I built puppets?
What if instead we did it for real and it looks really awesome?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And still holds up amazing. Because those like puppets, animatronics, like whatever they are, whatever each scene uses, look really good still.
Good.
Here's
they look
here's
great.
a really cool photo of the guy wearing the...
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's really fucking cool.
But no, there was reading up on it. They were having to do a lot of like creative problem solving because they hadn't ever done a robot on film that wasn't a suit. This is the first time they really pushed. We want an endoskeleton instead.
Yeah.
So it can't be a guy in a suit. It's got to be something different. So they
So-
had to make do with what they could do, as far as you can do puppetry for things where you don't have to see the full body.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you got to do a small scale model and stop motion it around, which honestly, the stop motion is. It got a little Godzilla in some places.
It got very Godzilla. That's
Right?
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but it did sort of break the
It's
genre.
old, right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
movie is
It's 84.
so this movie is how old would that make it? 37 years old?
Right around.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Also, I would just like to point, Dick Smith, I looked at his IMDb, not a whole lot, but makeup department for The fucking Exorcist.
Ooh,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Pretty
understandable
important.
why they were trying to get him.
Yeah.
Pretty understandable.
I didn't look at his full IMDb, just like the top.
But that's,
ones.
you
But
know,
The Exorcist is pretty
big deal.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of a lot of big names that they approached for this.
Yeah, and they got it. They got a good one. 'Cause
They got a great one.
the effects that are there that hold up look really good and hold up super well, and the ones that don't are real bad.
And all things considered, the gripes we have are pretty small. As far as the full body endoskeleton, that's just awkward, but I can't think of a better way they could have done it back then.
No, I
And
can't
then
either.
the rubber head, I also don't know how they could have properly done an inset skeleton beneath flesh in a way that wouldn't either build out
But-
off his face and make him like big head Arnold.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have just done a thing.
They could have done makeup like they did with him at the very end.
But then it wouldn't have been so
it wouldn't have
sunken
been-
in.
Yeah, you couldn't have done the full. I don't think you would have gotten
I
the full
see how
effect
they
of the
got
surgery.
to
Yeah.
this moment.
I
You
do
know, I
too.
can't hate it because I don't know how I could have problem solved out of there.
And on the
Me
flip
neither.
side, it's the same thing. The arm looks really good.
The
When
arm
he's,
looks
arm looks
great.
digging
awesome.
Right,
Because
the art looks great.
But that's
Yeah.
the thing where you can set a guy up next
Yeah.
to it and have the robots going.
It's different. I understand that. And like I said, I'm not complaining about. It's just a thing that is aged poorly. I'm not saying that it was like poorly constructed at the time. Much like Wild Wild West, where at the time it's very poorly constructed, and today it is even worse.
You know, the lightning effects hold up. You know, they're cheesy as hell. But
They're exactly what you expect if you're watching
It's
a
what
movie
you want 'em to
from
be.
the 80s.
I
Yes.
only want the Terminator lightning to look like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whenever it doesn't, I get.
Most of the time it does.
Most of the time, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can we talk about the miniatures that were used to do the like future warfare scenes?
Oh, yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like. So I have a soft spot for miniatures. I love
so
it
do
when
I.
they're used in like the old Star Wars movies. I love when they're used in the older Bond films. I think they're really. I think it is an underappreciated part of film from that era. And man,
Yes,
I love these. I love the HK drones. I love the big the
like,
bigger
tank things.
Yeah, the big tank. Those are HKs too, but I always think of the HKs as the flying ones.
so
Yeah.
do
But yeah, the big. I think those are. They actually have a designation, and I want to say they're
209.
No, actually, I want to say they are T200s. Actually,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
that sounds right, but I could be making that
Yeah,
up.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I love like the only parts of I love Terminator when it's showing the future, whenever it's above ground and they're showing the robots doing things. I don't like it. You know, that's another thing I don't love about this movie. I don't love the scene where it's the
infiltrator scene.
infiltrator scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because it's a bit too messy the way the scene is shot, and I get it because that's just what the future looks like in Terminator, but
He really wanted to stick home. The future sucks.
It's bleak.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
sad. It's blue.
well, and it's before the fight. Yeah, it is very blue,
Yeah.
white, and
Whoa.
black.
Yeah.
Well, and before we get to the fight scene, and that it's fine. It's just
Yeah.
as soon as the fight starts, it gets super messy about what's going on.
Yeah,
And that's one of the big
scene.
stroby scenes too.
Yeah, it's not a great. The ending to that, I like the build up to it. I just don't like the payoff for that scene.
I feel
very
like they
much.
could have done the noises and cut it, and it would have been okay with it.
Probably.
Since it was kind of a flashback.
Yeah.
But he also really liked the future scenes. I didn't hate the future scenes. I like the
No,
soundstage.
like I said,
the
everything
soundstage is really fun.
everything above ground,
Mm-hmm.
like when they're in the car and they're like shooting up at the hunter killer drone,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like that part's great.
I do want to ask, how many skulls do you think they went through?
So many,
So many skulls.
especially throughout the franchise, because that's like the iconic thing, and we're gonna get to it. The most iconic tournament.
One of the most iconic. I
One of
don't
the
think it's
most.
the most iconic, but
There
it's
are-
up there.
4 iconic scenes in the next movie I can think of.
I know we know at least 2 of them.
But one of them's where it steps on
One of them
skull.
involves a skull. The other one involves another
skeleton,
skeleton. Yeah.
and then another one involves a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's the one I'd say is the most iconic.
really,
I think so. Yeah.
I would still say the stepping on the skull.
Stepping's really good. But we're talking about a movie that we did.
Steppening.
The steppening. We're talking about a movie we haven't watched yet.
Mhm.
God.
Which is appropriate for the theme.
Yeah, talking about the future.
Sure.
Actually, I would like to talk a little bit about the one of the Kyle Reese scenes that I do really like.
Okay.
It's when he's got her in the car and he's like rapid firing, trying to explain what's going on. Because I think that his flusteredness and like, oh my god, please just sit fucking still.
I like Kyle in those moments a lot because I like whenever they let Kyle just be the soldier because he doesn't know shit.
Yeah.
I like when they stress the fact that I'm not a scientist. I don't know fuck all.
He is way better as just the soldier than the hero.
Yeah.
He works way better as that. I wish they had kept him as just an idiot soldier the entire time.
He's
Yeah.
just an
He's got
idiot
one
soldier.
job.
I was fine with him just being like the soldier and it being like happens. It's the fact that he was like, I love you and I always wonder why he gave me that photo. But then like he knows in that moment and that felt weird. That
You
took
feel-
me out because I was
I
like,
don't- I don't think he knows.
I don't think he knows. I think it's hero worship.
I don't know, like, it felt like I definitely got the impression, and this is my first
Okay.
time watching it, so I don't know. The way he phrases it, when he turns and goes, I always wonder why he gave me that photo, and then he turns and, like, looks at her, and then, like, goes into the explanation with the I love you, that feels like he knows.
I actually have an explanation for this that works really well. That's not elegant or pretty,
Okay.
but it's very realistic.
Okay.
I'm scared.
All right, let's hear it.
John Connor gives him this picture.
Mhm.
It is the future. The future
Yeah.
sucks. I'm at war constantly.
Mhm.
I jack off to this picture every fucking night.
There we go. We got there.
And I finally meet this woman. I don't know if I love her, but my dick's telling me I love
No,
her.
that's not my issue with that particular. Yes, that is partly the issue. My bigger issue, I'm fine with him being like weirdly fixated. He absolutely, I feel like it absolutely implies that he knows in that moment why John Connor gave him that photo. And then like the way when I was watching it, and this is my first time watching it, that is absolutely what I thought was implied there. I had no questions about
I
that
don't think
scene
he
except for the
knows.
fact that I wish they hadn't done it.
I don't think he knows.
Yeah.
There's no way he knows.
I could see him hoping. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's me.
Hoping, sure.
Maybe
I don't-
I'm the one.
I don't even think he hopes. I don't think he's that smart, man. I think
He
he's
is the
he's
big dumb-
an idiot.
He's not even dumb. He's got a lot of.
He's got a lot of practical knowledge.
He's very
just
street smart.
This is gonna
Big
be
ol'
weird.
street smarts.
I wish he was more dumb than he was.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's a good soldier and not a lot else.
Yeah, that's all he is.
Which is all he's supposed to be because he's a child
Well, it's all
soldier
supposed
brought
to
up
be,
in the
but,
war.
But they try to make him the hero and it doesn't work well, in my opinion.
Well, he's not very good at it, which is why Sarah gets to be the
He's
hero.
better at it than he should be, and Sarah doesn't get to be as much of the hero as I would like. Part of that,
Yeah,
I
I
will
was
admit,
about to
is
say.
biased because I know how good she can be.
This is training
but-
wheels, but she gets to be the badass as much as she
gets to be-
can.
Look, she gets to
be the-
say you're terminated, fucker, and then crush him in a hydraulic
Which is
press.
so
which is
dope.
great.
She gets to be a badass for the most important bit.
Which, by the way, hydraulic press, the most powerful fucking thing
in the universe.
Yeah.
You can put you can put the sun itself in a hydraulic press and it couldn't do shit.
Big old squish.
Yeah. I love that. I love that entire scene, actually. I think it's great.
This is just a little thing, and this is mostly, I think, for me and Jake more than anyone. But
Are we talking about a gun shot?
Guns,
Yeah.
just the guns in general.
Yeah,
That's something
there's
that.
so many good choices in this movie, dude.
But that pistol, and the name escapes me what it
It's
actually is.
it's a an M1911 with a
with a
laser
huge
sight
laser
huge
sight on
laser
the
sight on
top.
the top. Yeah.
Man, I love that gun.
Yeah.
So much. It is iconic. He's holding it on the cover.
Yep. It's great.
So good.
It's a great gun, and you know what?
The guns are good in
The
this
guns
movie.
are
And
great
I'm
in
not
this movie.
really like a huge gun nut, but I love. They're very interesting.
I
And they're very nice to look at.
I like guns a lot. We've been over this. I am a resident gun guy. But yeah, him going into the gun shop and naming off all of them, and the gun store guy being like,
scene.
man, you know a lot of your stuff.
And never once thinking,
this
maybe I should call for backup.
Yeah.
Never once going, maybe I should give this guy a
This is
minute.
normal. This is America.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't.
Yeah.
I think you could go into a gun store right now and do almost that exact scene, minus getting the bullets because they would have that behind glass nowadays. But in the 80s, pretty sure you could
I'm not
reenact
saying
almost all of that.
I'm not saying it's inaccurate for the 80s at any point. I am saying that guy walks into my store and keeps asking for guns and keeps laying them on the counter in front of him, I would probably take one back before I put the new one down. That's all I'm saying.
We're also hardcore gun control around here.
But did you see how happy that guy was?
He was excited. That was big money.
I was like, big money? I get to close early?
That was big money. He got greedy, and that's the problem. He got greedy.
Yeah.
Man.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, gun of justice.
Yeah.
Do you know so many thoughts? Because I have two little things I want to bring up.
Go for it.
One, I love that she's wearing a Jetsons t-shirt.
Yeah.
In the early bit of the movie.
It's a good t-shirt. It's a really good t-shirt.
Her friend
Ginger?
Ginger fucking loves music.
Yeah.
And it was her downfall.
It was, but she really fucking likes music. There's like almost not a scene where she has that goddamn Walkman off.
Basically, just when she's at work.
Did they have a contract with Sony?
They might have.
I don't think it had enough presence for it to be like placement.
I feel like
It
they
might
definitely
have
had
been,
something
though.
In the
It was
80s? In the
they
80s?
definitely had
Maybe.
something
People
like
knew
it.
what a
They
fucking
had Nike
Walkman
shots
was.
we get in this movie.
The shoes I totally buy. I don't know that the Walkman was something they got paid
Maybe
for.
it wasn't. Maybe it was just decided, hey, this is our thing.
Maybe they were angling for it, but they couldn't get it, so they had to just cut out
Cut
all
all
the
the branding.
Yeah, they had to
Yeah.
cut out all the branding, but you can't remove the fact she listened to Denise. He wrote the entire plot around it.
I thought it just made her more
James
of a party
Cameron
girl.
loves some money.
She is a party girl.
She is super party girl.
I'm just, she,
Her and Matt deserved better.
yeah.
Yeah, they definitely didn't. Matt got it bad.
He did. He got it real bad.
tried
Motherfucker,
real
you know
hard.
what?
He
Good
actually
for Matt.
he got some hits
He
in,
got some
though.
hits
Yeah.
in. He fought Arnold off for a good little bit.
Yeah.
He
That's
would.
pretty impressive.
Yeah,
He
honestly.
did pretty good, honestly.
Mhm.
Better
Good
than
for
I
him.
would have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He would not have stood up. I hate to keep going into this. Would not have
No,
lasted a
it's
fucking
Team
second
1000.
against the next movie.
God, no.
Not in a fucking moment.
That's a whole other ball
It's a
game,
whole
though.
other thing. You want to talk about scary? We'll talk about scary.
still-
Side note about Ginger's boyfriend, by the way, before we get into talking about a movie I have not seen again.
I can't
Uh-huh.
wait. No, we're not going to talk about it again. I'm putting a moratorium on it for myself.
But Ginger's boyfriend, one of my favorite scenes in this entire film.
Yeah.
This entire film was when he calls and starts doing the sex talk. And Sarah Connor lets him go for a while because I absolutely would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Hilarious. And then, oh, I'm sorry, can you hand the phone to Ginger? And this man is not thrown off at all. He goes straight back into it.
He's
They're all
got a.
friends.
He's not sleazy, because they could have made him sleazy so
could've been.
easy.
He's just a
But
dude.
he was just like, I'm sorry. Like, he was really embarrassed.
He's a big dumb meathead,
Yeah.
and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I like the supporting characters in this. There
Yeah.
aren't too many, but like I
Even
like
like
them.
the cops and stuff.
Cops are
Oh,
great.
yeah, the lieutenants.
The lieutenant and the
are,
detective were great.
yeah, they're great. And then
And
the
it fucking just drinks a 2-hour like old coffee with cigarette ash in it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even give a shit. that says something
he's
about
been
him,
there
man.
for hours.
They
Yeah.
reacted reasonably to the situation they were given. I
Yeah.
can't hate them in any way whatsoever
No,
for what
they
they
did fine. How are you supposed to prepare for that?
Yeah, and when a guy shows up going, I'm from the future, the robots are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really believe that, even if he has 100% right.
Right. Man. No, I had one more thing.
Yeah.
Sure, what's
go
up?
for it.
Was mostly that the way this movie starts, when we sat down, Rachel made a crack about how movies in this time period like to put exposition as like a title card. So you just read what it's about and then watch the damn movie.
Yeah.
And
In
they
the
did
year
that in this
blank.
one.
Yeah.
But also, for like the first 20 minutes, we get so little like overhead exposition the way that you normally would in a movie. Where people just suddenly drop hints like, oh, here's so and so because of such and such. You know, obviously in this, it's just her living her day.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
get to watch. We don't get a lot of dialogue from our main character. We don't get anything other than what year is it, basically, from Reese
Yeah.
until like 20 minutes in during the car chase do we get to find out anything about him. It's what year is it, and then come with me if you want to live. Like
Yeah.
that's the only things he gets to say, basically. And even Sarah doesn't talk much until like there's the bit when they're getting ready, and even then it's sort of like quiet, almost
It's
mumbled
normal.
lines.
Yeah, it's just normal life.
Well, that's kind of the brilliant thing about it. Like, this is a normal day for her.
Well, I just really liked it because Sarah, she's just living her life. There's no like, I'm gonna drop things about my life. I live alone, or I live with my roommate, or anything sad. She's just a normal person, and we don't get to find out anything about Reese or about the Terminator until about 20, 30 minutes in
Yeah.
at Tech Noir. those two are practically silent protagonists, except for like the confrontation about give me your clothes and what year is it. That is it. I like how little we know about them until like a third of the movie.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's really good.
It's fantastic.
The proper build up for.
Because the only exposition we get is from the cops. Doing the, oh, look, we've got 2 dead Sarah Connors.
That's
Maybe
weird.
we should do something about that. There's only 3 in town.
Yeah.
That's good. I do.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. On that note, watching the film, I don't think the title cards were necessary. I think this movie was stronger without the extra exposition. I almost wish I had just like, since this is my first time watching it, I almost wish I had gone in with the exact amount of information, which was functionally nothing, that I was walking into without the title card. I kind of wish it had unraveled the way they had put it together, because I really like how it's a normal day for her, and it goes through and you learn about the characters as you go on.
Yeah.
And about the villain. I kind of hate I got so much information up front. I feel like it didn't need it. I feel like it told a good story.
That's just a thing at a time.
I agree with you. But
And they
it
don't
is
give
a
a
thing
whole
at a
lot
time,
of information on the title card. They give some, but not like a bunch. It's not a lot.
It's not a Star Wars title crawl. Like, it's not the episode 1 title crawl.
I don't think it even really
But-
explains. Like, Reese does most of the explaining about what's going on. It just lets you know that robots are a problem, and we're not fighting in the future. We're gonna rewind.
Yeah.
And that is literally explained in the movie much better than it will ever be in that
It
title
handled
card.
visually. Yeah, we didn't need to see it.
You didn't need to, but like I said, it's product of the time. It's a little
And
charming.
I'm so glad we don't do
Part
that.
of me misses it
I kind of like them.
sometimes.
I'm with Jackson there. I
Yeah.
kind of like getting to see a little, like, you know,
Well, like
like a book jacket.
Yeah,
It's a book jacket
Yeah,
on the
that's
movie.
what the
is.
back of the movie's for.
No,
Or
but it's
we
kinda
give a
nice to
summary
have-
of the movie before you go see the movie.
Well, I'm also the kind of person who does kind of like narration, you know?
And narration, I don't know, it just feels it feels lazy.
It depends on the narration, you know? A little setup, I kind of like. If there's a setup and a bookend of narration, that feels kind of nice to me.
But this isn't narration. This is, I typed something out, I picked a font, I threw it up on screen.
That's how all writing goes, yes. But I don't...
Okay, don't pull that around.
That's no different than narration, though.
No,
This
I
is
think
the
it's
little-
totally different, because there's intonation with narration. You get the speaker in narration. You get the emotion in their voice.
So would this have bugged you if it had been Reese or even Sarah talking?
No, it would still bother me because it's not needed for this film. But there's points in time where narration is good.
so, not to talk about the sequel in the franchise.
Oh my God, guys, really?
But if I'm remembering right, and I think I remember the movie pretty well, there in the very beginning, there's instead of a title card, there's a spot of narration.
I put a moratorium on it, man. I can't talk about
I'm
it anymore.
pretty sure I'm right about that.
Jake
I've
can
seen
neither
Terminator
confirm
2
nor
a lot.
deny.
I know the answer, but I can't say it.
I don't think it's that bad. It's a small block of text.
It lasts like 30 seconds.
It doesn't take away the
It's
movie.
two blocks of
It
text.
doesn't need to be there, but it's short.
It's
at
one
least.
card. It's not the end of the world.
I think it's charming. That's my stance on it.
That's fair.
Yeah. It reminds me of a bygone era of sci-fi.
That's fair.
I did have one little plot question I wanted y'all's opinion on.
Okay, let's hear it.
How would this have worked if, when they were at the police station, instead of being incredibly earnest and I'm a soldier from the future, these people had just lied?
Do you want so are you asking like
Oh man, that's
Like-
a
with the characters, are you asking specifically like what do I think would happen if they had already done that?
Well, kind of like as far as story progresses, do you think it would have benefited at all if they'd had that moment, that little power? No, Reese,
No.
they'll shoot you. Just tell them we were running from some murderer. You know?
No, that would have gone over so poorly. They would have both ended up in jail and they would have gotten shot.
So you just think the being able to do that, he's from the future, he's crazy, let's get someone in here, kind of bought them more time and it works plot-wise? Because I, in that moment, went, why didn't you lie?
I don't
I
think
think
he
it would work-
can lie is kind of the thing. I think he's real bad at it, even if he
We just
tries
come back
to.
to
That's the thing. He's just dumb.
He's dumb.
He's just
dumb.
too much of a straight-laced,
Yeah.
I'm
When
a
would
grunt on
he
the ground.
When would he have needed to lie?
As far as no one ever thought to look this man dead in the eye and go, "You're going to the past. Maybe don't tell them you're from the future." That might go over poorly.
Maybe they told him, definitely tell them you're from the future.
I'm going to be real. I don't think
fun.
they addressed it. I think they showed up at this place where there was the time machine.
Yeah.
And they were like, someone has to go. We got to blow this up stat. I think they were on like a fast time frame.
No, that makes sense. Absolutely.
they-
but it's
This
also one line.
conversation didn't happen.
It's also one line to go, "Hey, man, maybe need to know basis."
Probably. I don't think you're wrong, but I also think he's too dumb of a character to
I
try
think it would have
lying.
worked out way worse if they had lied.
Because I hadn't decided if it was better or worse. I just wanted to get y'all's opinion on whether or not lying made sense in that moment.
I think
Because in the moment, I went, "Why didn't you lie?" And
Hey,
after the fact, I was
kids.
like, "I don't know if
Hey,
that would have
kids, is
helped."
lying good? Should you lie to your parents?
Should
Go
you lie
ahead.
to the cops?
Throw a
Yeah,
couple
should you lie to the
hey,
cops?
just throw a couple lies that cop's way. Who
Yeah,
cares,
who cares?
right?
What's he gonna do?
What's he gonna do?
Pig.
He's not your dad. He can't stop you.
And
Lie
if-
to cops.
yeah, and if he is your dad, even more reason to lie to him.
Just keep lying. It's
No,
lies all the way
I'm with
down.
Jack because I think it ends up way worse because if they lie, he then has to answer, who is he? Where's your ID? This man doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, he looks way more like the murderer if he lies, and he's not just a crazy person.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I just
Yeah.
if they could have gotten their stories straight.
They didn't
They
have time.
did. Well, that's the other brilliant thing. By telling the truth, they don't have to get their story straight.
That's fair.
This
you know?
man appeared. He said that there's a robot after me. He says he's from the future. He doesn't have to think about what she's gonna say because he fucking knows.
Man, that fight in the station, by the way,
So
Real
good.
He is the turn like
That is the
yeah,
Terminator.
that is the Terminator. He's so unstoppable.
Yeah. I love one of my favorite scenes in the police station is when that guy shoots him right in the right below the throat,
yeah.
and then he shoots him back, and then that cuts to the scene of him in shadow with the gaping bullet wound in his chest, and then just keeps walking forward
Yeah.
because you cannot fucking stop these things
Yeah.
at all.
So with a shotgun, that is enough kick power to like knock them down. At
As it
least.
turns out, there aren't too many horror movie villains that aren't at least slowed down by a fucking 12 gauge.
yeah, get a shotgun.
God's problem solver.
Don't get a flamethrower because that one actually, I mean, it works a little bit.
Works.
but
Then you got a
Tiny
flaming
bit.
bad guy after you.
Yeah.
You know, then he's on
you have the
fire.
exoskeleton. going
Well,
after
yeah,
you.
they found that out
Which,
later.
by the way, the exoskeleton crawling out of the fire is
It's great.
minus the stop motion part.
But
That's
the
great.
scene, the scene composition itself is so
Great.
good because they even kick in the theme a little bit. You
Yeah.
think you got him, and then there he is.
Yeah.
He's
So good.
back.
They
They
waited.
don't stop.
Yeah.
They waited as long as they're supposed to.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
I fucking love that part.
yeah.
Which is a great segue into asking our questions. Hey, Sam,
Yep.
favorite and least favorite part of the movie,
Okay.
or least favorite and favorite, whichever way you want to go.
There's a lot of good here.
Yeah.
Least favorite?
Yeah,
I'm gonna start there today.
Start with the negative.
Honestly, just the inconsistency with how dangerous the plastique was.
that's fair.
Okay, yeah.
That should have blown up in so
Yeah.
many points.
Well, they made a point. It's more stable than this other stuff. It's more stable than was it?
They only said it's
I have a
slightly
thing
more
with
stable.
But they said that once, and then they were so gentle, screwing on the cap, and then
Yeah.
they made so many fucking jokes
Yeah.
about like, "Hey, catch this!
Yeah.
What's it fuck? You know, let me just roll all these cylinders on a table that's not even surface in this motel and hope nothing
Yeah.
falls off it."
Yeah.
You know, a lot of inconsistency with that one very important plot device
Yes,
had me a little okay. Why
Yeah.
not?
that's fair.
Yeah.
As far as favorite,
It's difficult. There are a lot of good scenes. in
there's
this
a
movie.
lot of good scenes. I really liked the. There's a lot of good. I like the tech noir fight scene.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that a lot, just because you got to see two creepy looking trench coat dudes
Yeah.
square off in the
Well-
moment where they both seem like sketchy individuals. You know, you're supposed to like Reese a little bit more, just because he's not so robotic and he's definitely the more like human of
He
the
hasn't
two of
killed
them.
anyone yet.
But he's
Yeah.
definitely still sketchy as hell.
Oh yeah.
And, well, that seems great. The build up to it's incredible
Mm-hmm.
because like you're waiting for the Terminator to finally find Sarah Connor.
And you get to see Sarah smart enough to go, something is going on.
Yeah.
She puts together the phone book thing, you know, about as fast or faster than the police did, honestly. And she's doing everything she is supposed to. And you feel for her because she's done everything she is supposed to in that situation.
Yeah.
But it's a good fight. And like the colors are good. And I like all of just the 80s-ness about it. You know,
Yeah, that's very
it was a
nice.
symbol of time without being so like, you know, radical.
Yeah.
I like smoky 80s in the neon. I like that vibe.
Yeah.
I'm here for
Good.
that.
It's a good aesthetic.
Encompasses.
Jackson.
Real quick, just to add on to that, $4.50 to get into a club. That's pretty
nothing.
good.
It's pretty
That's
reasonable.
nothing.
Actually, hold on. I do have one thing to say about the Plastique.
Okay.
More stable than nitroglycerin is not a selling point.
Yeah, because nitroglycerin is ridiculously
Just
unstable.
fucking explodes sometimes.
Yeah,
But
if it gets tipped the wrong way, it might just blow up.
if it's too
Blow
hot
bar.
out, it might
just
blow up.
Too cold out.
Too humid, might
And they-
blow up.
And they put these things in cylindrical little
Yeah,
containers.
they essentially look like pipe bombs.
that
They are
rolled
pipe
around
bombs,
on that
yeah.
counter. They were just
Yeah.
rolling around. He gets up to be all moody and he starts like elbowing these things all over the place and shoving them down in that bag right after telling her, hey, gently, just be
You
careful.
could just say they're pipe bombs. Like pipe bombs aren't.
Pipe bombs are more stable.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're more stable until you light the fuse and toss them.
Yeah, but with pipe bombs, you gotta deal with like shrapnel and stuff. And this was just supposed to be like big.
Big boom.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Anyway,
Jackson?
favorite, least favorite?
We'll follow the same string. I'll do least favorite 1st. Least favorite, the scene that slows down the entire movie. The whole "I love you." Like,
Yeah.
I don't agree with Rachel on everything, but I don't like it either.
That's fair.
I think it's the low point of the movie, and it kind of ruins the pacing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They should have just fucked.
Yeah, they should have just fucked. I agree. The Terminator, let's just fuck cut. Favorite scene, man, that's fucking hard. Gun shop.
Gun shop's pretty
Gun
good.
shop's really good. So simple. It's doesn't overstay its welcome. Just fun to watch. I like them. Like just messing around with the gun. It's just good.
Yeah.
It gives a lot of serotonin to my brain.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Rachel.
Okay, so I'm gonna preface this with this movie is I am not the target demographic by any means, and I can acknowledge that. I didn't grow up with this movie. There is no nostalgia factor, and in general, I'm not a huge action movie fan. Obviously, I don't like the scene with the "I love you." I also, about half of like the car chase scenes where they're shooting feel like the same scene to me. I feel like there are some that have like super like distinctive moments, but I feel like there were just a lot of those scenes and it felt like the same formula. And I don't know if it's just not my thing, I think.
It's definitely just not your thing.
It felt like, I don't think they were bad. They blend together so intensely for me compared to the other fight scenes.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
I'd just say fair enough.
Yeah.
Contrasting, I love the fight scene at the police station.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think that is the moment where I'm like, yeah, the Terminator's terrifying.
Because he can't be
Because
stopped.
in the other ones, it's his power is mitigated so much by like, oh, well, her boyfriend can get in some good hits. How strong is he? We've seen him punch through like metal and shit.
Yeah.
As strong as he needs to be.
But this one like kid like stops him a few times before this one makes an entire damn sandwich.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
2 whole sandwiches while jamming.
Yeah, that's true.
And this kid holds him off that much. And then later on, like the shotgun putting him down. I have no problem with shotguns, but the power differential as well. But in that like moment in the police station, he's so fucking terrifying.
To give the shotgun scene a little bit more, like he fires I think he fires 7 times in
Okay,
like the
I didn't
span of
quite
about
that
in the span of about 3
the
seconds.
only reason that scene with the at the club doesn't take first place for me is it ended up being really messy for me, like sound wise, keeping
Okay,
track of
that's fair.
everything.
That's
But
totally
the police
fair.
station, gosh, he's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's okay. The police station's tied with the scene where he comes out of the fire because that's just
yeah,
I love that in
fucking
every
cool.
film.
Yeah.
Any type of thing where they rise back from the flames to fuck you up one more time.
Yeah.
Love it.
he just won't
Excellent.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
I like the taste of a happy ending. and then like I knew Kyle was gonna die, but I love the moment where you're like, maybe, and it's like, nah, bitch, double tap.
There is nothing
Yeah.
sweeter in writing and
So
being a
good.
dungeon master than making people think they've won and then
What's
getting
that?
to
You're
rip
safe?
that
Love it.
away from them in the last second.
And I think it's a really great feeling as a viewer or a player. It's good. I enjoy it, and I think that's why. Like the car chase scenes. I remember exactly one of them, and it is where they're like driving out and like she flips, and then there ends up being that whole moment.
Mhm.
That is the only one I distinctly remember. The
Okay.
rest blur into that.
If you had to choose one, that's the one I'd
Yeah, it's the
choose
best
as
one
well.
by far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that means I
Yeah,
passed
Dave.
to myself. Least favorite. Hey, guess what? The sex scene sucks. Everybody knows it. We've
scene.
talked about it
Good
at
scene.
length.
Linda Hamilton's side boobs. I mean, if you're into
Yeah,
that,
but-
you get to see.
But we could have had that
I
still.
don't remember Kyle Reese's actor's name. He's in a ton of. He's like the classic '80s action hero,
Yeah.
but you get to see his shredded body.
You
so
do. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
that's
into
my
either of
issue.
those two things.
I mean, like, that's not. Look, man, I'm not here for that. I'm here for
Yeah.
robots. That's my least favorite part, though. I hate
Yeah.
the sex scene.
yeah,
It sucks.
really takes away from the movie.
It does. It's like really bad at we've talked about it we talked about it at length. Favorite. It's really difficult for me, but no, that's a lie. It's actually super easy for me. Love the police station.
Yeah.
Love the club. Love the gun shop. Love the chase scenes. Love so much. I love it when he's running at the very beginning and finds his outfit in the clothes store.
Yeah,
You're terminated, motherfucker.
yeah,
Let's
strong.
fucking go.
yeah.
I don't need what a strong point at the end of this. What a good, like, I'm so glad.
Okay, I know we're not.
I love that ending.
We're technically
I
at
love
questions, but I'd like to talk about that for a moment because I really loved that, and I loved when she accidentally hit that button the first time because I was
Yeah.
like, "That's it. That's a tool we're going to use later."
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm so excited for it, and guess what? I was.
It's a
I knew it was going to happen. I still loved it,
yeah.
I
It's a
still
good,
enjoyed it.
It's
Mhm.
hey.
and in that moment where she says, "You were terminated, motherfucker," that is the entire like. I imagine I have not seen the second one. I imagine that is like the character defining moment.
That's the
where she-
shifting point.
That's the shift. That's the full ass shift.
It's getting harder and harder not to break my moratorium. So
Yeah. So I'm excited for the next movie.
as you,
Sarah Connor is so cool,
I
Rachel.
can only imagine that I would like it better than this movie.
Yes.
I adore
for
her.
probably a number of reasons, but also like I love a
She's-
no-nonsense woman.
She's so great. She's like my hero, my style icon, everything I want to be.
I know exactly how she dresses now.
Yes.
but yeah, she's. That scene is my absolute favorite out of this movie, and it's not even really close as much. And I love this movie. Spoiler alert, I love this fucking movie.
Yeah,
so
should we? What's the next? What's
What
it
is
this?
technically?
A
technically
technically good
proficient
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
Can we do a blanket statement? I think
You wanna do a-
I think
you wanna
we
do a
all
3,
think
or
that's
are
a
we all-
yes
Yeah.
because it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
Rachel, because you're the one. I know us
You're the
three
holdout.
is for
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
yes.
I think for the time period, it is. I think it's a very good film. I think the effects are really, really good. Even taken out of the time period, there are some plot points I'm not big on. There are some things I don't love, but overall, I don't think you can say that it's technically a bad movie. It is exactly what it is billed as, and it does it very well.
So that's 4 yeses because
It's a
this is a
fucking
fucking
classic.
great movie.
Yeah.
It's in Library of Congress archives for a reason. It's a fucking great.
It is a
goddamn-
sign of the times. It is a little dated in
Oh,
some
yeah,
places.
sure.
but it is
But
a great
filmography,
movie.
solid.
Yeah.
A little blue, but
That's
solid.
once again artifact
Gotta
of
choose color palette.
yeah.
Well, it also sort of designates the time. You know, it
Yeah.
separates very clearly when we are in the future and when we are in the past.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Because those skulls weren't enough.
They weren't. We need more.
Top notch film.
No, I technically, jokes aside, technically, I think it's a good film.
All right, cool.
Hey.
Would you watch it again, Sam?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not my favorite in the franchise,
Mhm.
but yeah, I have no issue with this. It's fun. And
Yeah.
it's not like it's not big action fun in there's an explosion every 2 seconds or something, but it is like slow ramp up. I'm impressed by everyone in it the entire time. You know, I enjoy it a lot. I'd watch it again. Jackson?
Yes. Yes. Especially if I get to watch Terminator 2 right after. But yes. Yes.
There it is.
It is great as a double feature. Yeah.
T1's good. Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's a fucking classic. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down and watch that. Someone asked me, "You come to my house, watch Terminator?" I'm like, I'll bring my copy of Terminator 2.
Rachel.
If it's on, I probably wouldn't turn it off. I'm not sure it's one I'll seek out personally. And if I do, it's probably going to be on in the background because there are just some scenes that I don't think I would watch it straight through again just because I know who I am as a person.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's on, I'm not changing the channel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Evidently, unless Terminator 2 is on a different channel, is the feeling I'm getting here.
You'll understand next
You'll
time.
understand.
Of the room.
It'll be on. It'll be on right after it. They usually if
Is
it's on.
Terminator 2 going to make me like this movie less?
I think it'll make you like this one more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll find out
It's
next
so
time.
strong. It's got the
But not
same...
like next
Fuck! I broke
time.
my moratorium.
No, I asked you specifically.
All right,
it's
fair.
got
enough.
big Alien versus Aliens vibes.
Yeah, actually.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna like
Yeah,
that.
it's
Fun
very
fact,
much.
you know who did Aliens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, have you all ever seen the movie
love
Dark
Alien
Star?
and Aliens.
Dark
No.
Star? What? No.
All right. I've got that banked for later then.
Okay. Oh, do we
Yeah,
even
Jay.
need to ask
Jay,
me?
I
I
mean-
brought
Yeah,
this
Jay.
movie. Fucking, of course I'm going to watch it again. It's
All right.
Terminator. I fucking... Look, y'all, I even like some of the bad parts of the bad Terminator movies. So, of course, I'm going to watch one of the good ones.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Of course I'm going to watch this again.
You wanna know-
Robots.
You want to know my biggest sin as someone who watches movies?
What?
I think I've seen Terminator 3 way more than I've seen Terminator 1.
That's...
I feel like that
How many
happens a lot
times
with
have you
movies.
seen Terminator 3?
I've seen Terminator 3 like 8 times, man.
8 times!
Well, comparatively, I've seen Terminator 2 like
That
probably
doesn't
more
count.
than 20.
That doesn't
Like-
count. Dude, come on now. Hold on.
I've only seen
us, do you think
Terminator
we-
1 twice.
Really? Only
Yes.
twice? Okay.
Yeah.
I've only seen it 4 times, but it's still more than I've watched T3,
Mhm.
which is twice, and that's 2 times too many.
I don't know if I've seen T3. I know
Don't.
I've watched T4. I have not. I don't think I've seen
Really?
T3.
T4's
Yeah.
much more competent. T3 makes you angry the entire time.
Yeah, it's a very anger-inducing movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They ruin everything that they do in Terminator
The
2.
series stops at 2. Everything else is from a branching
So many
timeline.
series do that. You
Yeah.
know, you hear rumors that there are other movies that might
And you
be.
just don't go investigate
and
them.
it's not worth
They
knowing.
did that weird spin-off in 2019, and that was the last Terminator movie. They only made 3, unfortunately.
Did you ever watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles?
I've watched a couple episodes, and I did enjoy what I watched,
Okay,
but I
yeah.
probably need to go back and
Is that
actually
the one
watch
that
it.
has Summer Glau in it?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, I do believe she's in those. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Guys, I love Terminator.
Yeah.
I really do.
want to watch Terminator 2 now.
Hey,
I
and we
know.
will as soon as
Yeah.
it gets back to my spot again.
I just fucking...
Unless someone really, unless my trap has
Let's just
been,
add a
unless someone
fifth.
has
Let's-
sprung my fucking trap.
Let's add a
But
5th movie to the block and just do Terminator 2.
nothing's stopping you from going home and watching it right now. It'll
I
still be
probably
good. When,
Honestly.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that
I
think
think
that
it sums it
closes
all
things
up.
off pretty
Yeah.
well. So, hey, y'all, I've been Jake,
I've been Sam.
I'm Jackson.
And I'm still Rachel.
and thanks for listening.